everybody. Welcome to When Calls the Hallmarkies, and this is a show where we are talking about When Calls the Heart, and we are almost finished season 9. Can you believe it, Caroline?
I can't. It feels like it just started.
We're in season 9, episodes 10 and 11, and it's going to be a ton of fun to talk about it. And I'm film critic Grace Wagner. Caroline is here.
Hey,
How are you doing?
good. How about you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I had a busy weekend, and so I feel like I need more days.
A weekend never lasts long enough.
Yeah. But always glad to talk about Hope Valley. We are going to talk about episode 10 and 11 today. And then next week, we'll talk about the finale and then kind of our thoughts about the whole season as a whole. So that should be pretty fun. And next week, we won't be on until Thursday because I can't record until Tuesday. So we'll have Heartland on Tuesday and When Calls the Hallmarkies on Thursday. It's all kinds of exciting. Nobody cares about the schedule but me, but that's what it is. Episode 10 is called Never Say Never. And it's Elizabeth and Rosemary don't agree on the best way to share unsettling news with the town about the coal mines, but that's put behind them when Rosemary hears even more shocking news. So overall, what did you think about this episode?
I liked the episode. Like, I went in with lower expectations, but I thought it was really good. It was one of my favorites of the season.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun episode. I liked both of these episodes. I thought were pretty good. Fun for a lot of different characters. I still feel like the business has been a big miss. All the business talk has been a big miss this season. And I think that all of this that they should have just done the mines. If they had been focusing only on whether these, they could have Smith come in, they could have Gilchrist come in, all these people come in, they could have all kinds of things. But if it had just been, are they opening the mines or are they not opening the mines? By the time we get to these two episodes, we would have been so much invested, but like opening the mines or not opening the mines has been kind of an afterthought. It's barely been in here. And we've had all this going back and forth to San Francisco and stuff with the oil company and stuff with the, and I just think it would have been like, you would have felt Florence slapping, Gowen, or these moments more if it had just been about the mine.
I haven't been liking the oil business storyline since when did it start? Like season 7 did it start? I think.
But I mean, it was okay those seasons because it was the only thing that they were really focusing on. And in this, we've had the saloon, we've had the oil, we've had the coal mines, we've had the publishing, the Village Voice. We just had so many businesses that all seem to be somewhat involved in with the same group of people that and things going back and forth.
I'll be ready for it to wrap up.
Yes. And I mean, because the only one I really care about is the mine. That's the only one that matters to our characters. In any kind of real way. Maybe the saloon a little bit, but I don't really care what job, if Lucas is working in the oil or if he's working in the saloon. It doesn't matter to me. That doesn't affect his character. Whereas the mine actually does affect the character.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
And poor Henry, he's just been dealing with this for since season 1, the mine. So I can't wait to see how it wraps up for him.
It's going to be interesting. So Lucas is arrested because he had partnered with Walden.
They said it was kind of he was framing Lucas.
But I didn't really understand, and I still don't understand what Walden did that was illegal. I understand that he's a bad guy and people don't like him, but that doesn't mean he's done something illegal.
I think he was doing illegal stuff in different places near Hope Valley. And so he was then headed to Hope Valley to do the same like bad business deals. I think that's
nondescript bad business. Like
yeah.
he's cooking the books or something like that. It's like a white collar crime.
Yeah, I think so. And because I think they said like he was like arrested or for like, attempted murder. I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's
well
what.
there was that, but that was kind of an aside, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
That
mm-hmm.
well, we also have in that other town, we have, but I don't think that had anything to do with Lucas.
Yeah, and he was I think it was last season when he they said that he was like not stealing, but like kind of like doing bad deals with Jesse, and that's like
Okay.
how he came to town was
Well,
because of Jesse.
hadn't he'd gotten Jesse to invest
Mm-hmm. Bad
all his
investment.
money in some shady investments.
Mm-hmm. So he was trying to like swindle people out of money, and that's what the illegal thing. Like he kept doing that to different
So it was like
people.
money fraud or something, like
Yeah,
money
yeah, that's it.
laundering.
Yeah, money. Yeah, money laundering.
Yeah, because sometimes on When Calls the Heart, it's just like you're just supposed to be like, okay, that's a bad person. And I'm like,
That's true.
well, what did they do?
Yeah,
What's
I think that he was just doing shady deals like all
okay?
the way around. Yeah.
Just sort of nondescript shady deals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It has been hard to keep track of all of this. Like I said, just all of it with the business has not worked, and they should have just had it be about, are we reopening the mines or not? That would have been so compelling. And now
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of compelling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
And we need a diagram of like
Mm-hmm.
everything connected.
Yeah. So it starts out with, yeah, Lucas gets arrested. Then Hickam says, I'm resigning out of nowhere. He just
Mm-hmm.
had this big success with the Hope Valley days. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
really, I guess he just needed to be off the show for a couple
I think that's what
episodes.
it was. Yeah. He needed his
Why
character needed
just don't
time.
have him be in the episode? You don't need to explain it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was weird. But Rosemary is sick, got a stomach ache, and whenever
Mm-hmm.
whenever you have a character, I was saying this the other day that yeah, Bill coughing up blood, not a good sign. That usually means he's gonna die. Uh, it's the same thing with women. If they have an upset stomach, oh, they're pregnant.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
You know that's gonna happen. But they think
Mm-hmm.
at first that she just has a stomach bug. And I was curious, and again,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a historically accurate show, but I was just curious that I guess the first pregnancy test was invented in 1927.
Hmm.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that they, I guess, would take some of your like your blood, I think, or your urine, I'm not sure, but they'd put it into like rats, and then like how the rat would respond, they would know. Isn't that weird?
That's so weird. How
It's
do they
so weird.
even know that? Like to even try, you know?
Yeah. How do you even come up with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously that's not something that's going to be in like every small town in 1927, but I thought it was interesting
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
so they didn't really have any way aside from sort of old wives' tales and kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
type things to know and until
Mm-hmm.
you were pretty far along,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
And so we also get to meet Gilchrist, Arthur Gilchrist.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he's supposed to be kind of, we're not supposed to like him, right? Because he's
Yeah, I
like
think
with
so.
all this
Yeah.
bad business. But I can't, Matthew James Dowden, I love so much. So
That's what I was telling someone like another friend I was talking to about the show, and I'm like, but I like him. Why
yeah,
can't he be a good character? But I hope he turns around.
I think he could have an arc like the school inspector.
Mm-hmm,
I'm feeling it. Yeah.
with Fiona.
Yeah. I mean, they're getting a little flirty, I feel like. But then
Mm-hmm.
in the next episode, when Hickam comes back, all of a sudden she's kind of hugging him. And I'm like, is he back into the picture again? What's happening?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I just like Matthew James Dowden so much. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy
Mm-hmm.
for him.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to get all the work.
Mm-hmm. And
And
it's funny. My brother's name is Arthur. So and he's like, I
Oh,
was
nice.
like Arthur. I'm like, it's so weird, like hearing his name.
Yeah. So we are probably going to be, if everything goes as planned, we have an interview with Matthew James Dowden scheduled, and I'll probably post it on Saturday or Sunday.
Cool.
If everything goes as planned. But
Mhm.
he's great. I loved his original interview.
Mhm.
And he's meeting with Smith and Fiona, but then also has something we'll talk about in the next episode, meeting with the Village Voice, because he works for Hearst as well.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
everyone in this world has multiple jobs.
There you go. It's just a natural thing. Except for Elizabeth.
Yeah. Except for Elizabeth. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast,
Bethany House Publishers and Becky Wade's newest release, Turn to Me.
Summer is the perfect time for romance, and Becky Wade's contemporary romances always deliver.
Her compelling Misty River romance series is set in the picturesque Blue Ridge Mountains and follows the love stories of friends bound by a life-changing event.
The perfect combination of intrigue, romance, and wit. This is a series you will not want to put down.
Get 40% off and free shipping at bakerbookhouse.com.
When you purchase any of the Misty River romance novels with the promo code MistyRiver40.
That's bakerbookhouse.com and code MistyRiver40.
They are making gooey butter cake at the cafe.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had gooey butter cake?
I've never had gooey butter cake, but it sounds delicious. So
yeah, I've never had it either, to be honest. I've seen it on Food Network.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like, I'm weird this way, I don't really like cookie dough. So I don't know if I would like gooey butter cake, but I'm sure we're willing to give it a try.
I know. I love butter is good.
So. Butter is good.
I'm like Paula Deen.
Yeah. But the cookie dough, like when people eat it like by itself, like spoonfuls, I don't mind it in ice cream, little chunks of it. That's pretty good. But it's so sweet just eating it.
I can't eat a lot. Yeah, I can eat like maybe like a couple of bites and I'm like, I'm done.
Like at Disneyland and places like that, you can buy like it by the scoop. And I just don't. I don't like that.
It's too sweet.
I also found out that gooey butter cake was invented or came up with in St. Louis in the 1930s. And I think that's still where it's like most popular is in the Midwest.
And she's from St. Louis, Minnie. So I like that connection.
Oh, there you go. I forgot that. So Bill is still coughing. Like I said, I'm worried about Bill. I think we could be seeing a sign off from him in the finale, but we'll see. Then we find out that there is a plea deal, and basically the person who hit Nathan is the same person who was trying to criminate Lucas, and he will testify that he did that to Lucas if they drop all the charges of the hit and run. So Nathan's struggling with this. Should he accept the plea deal? Of course, Elizabeth and Lucas want him to. But I did think it was kind of, I don't know, a little bit trolling of them to have Elizabeth visiting Lucas in prison, because all of those people that were like, she's dating a saloon owner, like I could just see them being like, she's dating a prisoner, and all this stuff.
And they kiss between the bars. Yeah. I'm like, that was pretty good though.
It was good. It was funny.
Yeah.
She gives him the pocket watch, says, "Our time has come." Was that something that had meaning before? I don't remember hearing that before.
I guess she's trying to tell him, like, nudging him along, like, I'm ready. Like,
but that wasn't like a meaningful phrase in their courtship or something that I forgot.
I think he just likes pocket watches, so she might as well get him a new one.
Yeah, because I had never heard that. Our time has come. And I was like, watch, I'll talk about it on the podcast and people will be like, they've said it 500 times.
I need to become friends with Elizabeth because she gives presents on her birthday, like to other people. I'm like,
I cover 3 shows right now. I can't keep track of every detail. I'm sorry.
Start talking about one show on the other. Like,
so we find out that that Walden had hired the guy who they're taking the plea deal with. So things keep getting more and more messy.
They said he got scared and so he was fleeing. So I guess he didn't do it. And I guess Walden had to do it instead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Tangled web we weave. We also have some flirty banter going on between Faith and Nathan, which they mentioned Maysu a couple of times. So now I'm just really confused. Are they trying to do another love triangle here, but they're having it be 2 women instead of 2 men?
Can't do it.
But isn't it weird?
Fatigue.
They were building with Maysu, and then all of a sudden she's gone for like 4 episodes, and then I guess she's gonna come back for the finale, maybe.
John, I can't speak. John Tinker said on one of his little things that she had to film a movie that Amanda, so they had to write her out of 2 episodes, and so that's when she was working on the movie, and so she's coming back.
That's the problem with these shows that are lasting super, super long, is that it becomes harder and harder to deal with the actors because they just have lots more commitments and things like that. I mean, it's the same thing right now. I'm covering Heartland and we're on season 13, and so it's all kind of not season 13, episode 13, season 11 on Heartland, and they keep having to do all these ridiculous things to explain why Ty isn't on the show and why Lou isn't on the show. And I don't know, it's a little frustrating. I almost wish they would just have the episodes be about other people. You don't even need to mention them. It's a big town. You could have a whole episode that's just about Florence and Molly. You don't even need to mention that Macy's gone for an episode, for example.
I think that's why Nathan and Faith have had scenes together these 2 episodes, is because May is gone. So because all of May's scenes were with Nathan, basically either Nathan or like Florence and Ned. I'm like, so I think that's why they kind of had to do Faith.
But now people are making montages on Instagram about Nathan and Faith, and I forget the hashtag. It was terrible.
Faithin.
Oh, it was bad.
Nathan and May are Mathan. Methan. I'm like, Lord, geez. I can't do another triangle.
Yeah. So we get this scene also between Faith and Bill, and Faith saying, you're working too hard. It's not going to end well for Bill. I'm worried about him. I really am. So Henry, he tracks down this guy named Colin, who is like a map maker. Is that right? And so he wants his opinion about the mine. But it turns out that Smith and Gilchrist and Walden got a hold of him. And he says they basically pay him off and says that the mine is fine. But kind of we'll see what he does the next episode. And so I guess Lucas finds out about the whole mine situation. He tells Elizabeth, and then Elizabeth tells Rosemary, right? That's the chain of.
Yeah.
And so then Rosemary says, I want to publish about this in the paper, but I confided with Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, the chain's like 5 deep. So I really wouldn't feel like bad. I mean, about reporting it. But Elizabeth is upset. But then when she sees it,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked when Rosemary says, I wish you could see things from my perspective as our town newspaper editor.
Mm-hmm.
So then Elizabeth says, you did the right thing. So that was
Mm-hmm.
actually like a time when I could have been really annoyed, but I actually wasn't. I was like, okay, good. This is good.
I guess at first she was just worried about Lucas. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
that's her, I guess, boyfriend. I guess they call it boyfriend. And so I guess,
Yeah.
but then she realized it's about the town, not just about Lucas and the widows and everything. So I like
So
that.
then Lucas and Nathan talk,
Mm-hmm.
and Nathan says, I'll take the plea. He's like, it's
Mm-hmm.
just exchanging one wrong for another,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then Rosemary tells Elizabeth about possibly being pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And that was cute.
Yeah.
That was cute scene.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then they meet, all the business people meet and make some kind of binding agreement. I wasn't sure exactly what was happening, but like they have an agreement with multiple pages. They're going through it. And Smith says to Gowen, let's conduct business the way we used to over 2 glasses.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go.
Mm-hmm.
A little like whiskey to
Mm-hmm. Seal the deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Smith says that they can make the mine safe. And he tells Henry, says, let's just look into it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Nothing
Mhm.
ventured, nothing gained, which is accurate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, as long as you can trust the people that they will, if it's not safe, won't do it, then there's no harm in just investigating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the main problem is that nobody trusts these people, and they think they're all going to have like corrupt judges and corrupt inspectors, and so they don't trust it. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Especially Gowen knows how they work, so he knows that they try to do a shady deal.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and
I get
so
that.
Lucas is going to give Elizabeth her present, but then
Mm-hmm.
things get kind of tense, and he puts it away, and it's like a ring. It looks like a ring box.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then Bill gets a call, and Lucas, well, it's Bill's on the phone with Lucas, and Florence sends it over, and she's crying and she's upset.
Mm-hmm.
And basically they think that Henry's agreed to reopen the mine, which isn't true. He's just agreed to start investigating it.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's super upset, and Florence comes up to Henry and slaps him in the face.
Oh my gosh.
She goes all
9
Will
years
Smith on him for her.
all the pent up anger just comes out. And
Yeah.
just
It was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. It was good. Loretta did a good job.
She really
in that
did.
scene. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
she was good.
And Johanna in that scene was you could tell the emotion on both of their faces. Yeah.
But don't you agree that if that had been the sole focus of all this business is the mine,
Mm-hmm.
that would have been
Mhm.
even like more wow.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
powerful. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what would you give this episode 1 to 10?
I hate doing these. Let's say 9.5.
Oh.
I wanted that proposal. So I'm like, he didn't do it. I'm like, come on, dude. Mm-hmm.
I give it, I'm gonna go a little lower. Just I don't think it's like one of the best ever. But I enjoyed it, especially Rosemary and Elizabeth. So 8.5.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good rating.
It is a good rating.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store. Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
So next we have Smoke on the Water. This is episode 11. It's with the mine reopening imminent. Gowen decides to take drastic measures to make sure it stays closed. Elizabeth and Lucas struggle to communicate with each other, and Lucas gets out of town to clear his head. So, overall, what do you think of this episode?
I like this one even better than 10. I thought it was. I love the Henry scenes. Like,
Yeah,
he's just so good. Martin's just so good, and I thought it was just a really sweet episode. Otherwise,
yeah, I agree. I think this one was really strong. That's part of the reason why I wanted to save the nines. But Lucas is pretty depressed in this episode. He's kind of sad and discouraged, and he's talking with Gustav, who again I think is a prisoner in the in the saloon because he never leaves ever.
Where does he live?
I don't know. He doesn't ever seem to be in any other part of the town. He's just always. He was at the one day of Hope Valley Days. He was actually outside playing his
The accordion.
Yeah, I was like, wow, they let him out. It's very exciting.
Lucas let him out.
But anyway, Lucas and Henry are they're going to be working together to run the mine. And right when they're doing that, the Gowen oil sign falls and practically hits them on the head.
Like, watch out.
Yeah. Then Bill is leaving because he's going to try to get the emergency injunction against the reopening of the mine. And so we'll see more of him really in the finale. I think he's probably going to collapse or something like that. That's my guess.
You think?
You don't cough up blood for nothing. That's bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
It means you're really sick. So then Florence is so upset. She's going around town taking all of the miners needed signs off. They have a lot of signs.
They really do. They need all the miners.
Yes, they do. I would think they would probably want to go outside Hope Valley to get the miners. It's probably not that many there.
That's true.
In Hope Valley.
Hickam, I guess Hickam, Lucas, and some of the younger guys can work the mines, I guess.
But none of them are going to want to.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe Robert. He would probably be the most likely.
Oh, Robert.
Yeah.
He's the new Hickam. All the jobs.
Yeah. So they have like a little bit of conversation about the fact that Nathan got a letter from May, which seems to be doing fine. So I think we probably will see her in the finale, at least a little bit. But there's more of Nathan and Faith. Pretty flirty at the infirmary.
Can you blame Faith though? I mean, really?
That's accurate.
Yeah.
He was so handsome in that scene.
He really was.
He really was.
And
it's unfair that someone is that handsome.
It really, in the eyes. I would understand Faith. I get it, girl.
Yeah. He really is great. So then we have this whole scene with Gilchrist, who's talking to Lee, and he says that he wants Lee to come
Mhm.
and work in Hearst newspaper.
Mhm.
And he just assumed that if he offered it to Lee, that like Rosemary would come along.
Mhm.
And he obviously doesn't know Rosemary very well. But Lee is very surprised because
Mhm.
it's like it's Rosemary's paper.
Mhm.
So what do you think about that?
I know they're not going to leave, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to see like all the newspaper stuff for Lee when it's like Rosemary's,
Mhm.
baby,
Yeah.
So we're gonna make
Yeah, I guess Lee's just such a great writer. Who knew? We didn't
He-
know.
hidden talent.
I like how we haven't talked about the book in forever. That was just in and out.
Kind of wrap the book up pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, I don't know.
She needs to write another book.
I was gonna say, is there gonna be a sequel? It's gonna be like Laura Ingalls Wilder.
Yeah. She married on the frontier. Like,
yeah. And I went to Lucas in the jail. I gave him a gift through the bars.
Yeah. And we kissed.
Yes.
Still can't get over that, apparently.
Gosh, all the Hurdies are like so upset, I bet.
That's the best part.
How dare they make her in love with a criminal? Oh my gosh. So then Minnie and the family are back. They've been gone. And then we get another scene with Robert and Allie. And then she tells, riding the bikes, she tells Nathan, we're just friends. I'm like, you're 14 or however old you are. Of course you're just friends. What are you talking about?
She said she liked him. So now I don't know. It would be cute to see.
Even if she clearly likes him, which is fine, like young love is cute. But there can't be anything other than friends.
That's true.
What are they going to get?
14, yeah.
He's going to give her a promise ring or something? Like, and how old is Robert?
I think he's like 16,
18, right?
Yeah, or 17, yeah, at least.
I just am so confused about this whole relationship.
Poor Nathan, whenever she does start to really court, he's not going to make it.
Like, I just find it hard to believe that on When Calls the Heart, they're going to have like a child bride. So I just don't understand why they are doing this relationship.
I guess they're confident in many more seasons to come.
Yeah, right. I also think, again, I know the show isn't historically accurate, but like they're going a little heavy on the women wearing pants thing. Like it wasn't, as far as I know, it wasn't just like an everyday occurrence. People wearing pants, women wearing pants all the time. But you have Fiona wearing pants, you have Allie wearing pants, you have Faith wearing pants. Like it's just a little much.
I don't mind Fiona wearing pants because that's how she came into town, and she's from San Francisco, so I gotta understand big city
That's
girl.
True.
Yeah, but seeing Faith in pants is a little jarring.
Allie.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Allie had on those little riding outfits when she came to Hope Valley, so I guess. And she's a tomboy-ish, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just kind of funny.
It is funny.
So Smith tells Gowen basically like, why don't you bring your son Christopher into town to run the oil company?
I was surprised about that.
I was too. And he has the picture of his son. Do you think we're going to see him in the finale?
I don't think in the finale. He might come for season 10. I don't know. But it would be nice to see, because I think he said that they're getting married, the son and Lee's niece.
I think they had a letter about that.
So that'd be fun to see them come to Hope Valley and then have family. Like Henry and Lee are related somehow.
But they really next season they could be the next Jesse and Clara.
That's true.
That would be cute.
We'd like to take a second from this episode of the podcast to celebrate our sponsor of this episode, and that is the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast?
Do you want an inside scoop into what happens on the podcast?
Do you want early access to episodes and loads of cool perks?
Now is the time to become a patron of Hallmarkies podcast.
By becoming a patron, you get to access our patron Facebook group.
You can request episodes or even be a guest on the podcast.
And most importantly, any patron can join our monthly movie watch-alongs with stars like Paul Campbell, Natalie Hall, and more.
It's as low as $2 a month to join in and become a special part of the Hallmarkies family.
Please consider, and we will love you forever.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
We have Minnie. She's cooking. There's a letter from Minnie's father.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little bit confused. He doesn't like Joseph. Is that the thing?
I
What's
think
going on with that?
because I watched the earlier episode and she's from more of a prominent family in St. Louis, Minnie, and Joseph's family was kind of like poor and wherever town they're from. So I think the dad doesn't think Joseph can provide for Minnie and the children.
Well, Ned is working with the beehives. He says his disposition is happy because of his hobbies. He encourages Florence to get a hobby. Do you have a hobby?
I like to garden and my chickens. And I have chickens. And
I didn't know that.
yes, four hens and and a rooster, and I get 4
Cute.
eggs every day.
That's fun.
Side note, they're the Golden Girls. They're Sophia, Blanche, Dorothy, and Rose. Yeah.
Well, I mean, my hobby is podcasting and writing. It's also my job, but also other things, going to theater. That's probably my other, that's my hobby. I love to swim. That would be
tennis. I play tennis. So those are my hobbies.
Especially in the summer. I swim a lot more, obviously, in the summer, but I love open water. To me, that's like a million times more fun than swimming in a pool. I just love like being out in nature. Anything, what else do I like? It's like a
Hallmark
hobby.
Channel.
Yes. Hallmark Channel, Disney, animation. I love going to the movies. I like to cook in batches. Like I'll have times where I'm really into it and having a lot of fun with it, and then I totally lose interest.
I bake. I like to bake.
Yeah.
Anything sweet.
I'm trying to think if there's any other like crafting kind of hobbies. I can't really think of any.
I used to dance whenever I was younger. I stopped dancing when I was 16. And so I understand Florence.
Florence, she starts with not just doing ballet, like doing first position, second position, third position. She starts with like toe shoes. I'm like, you don't do those for a long time.
Those hurt so bad.
Oh yeah. I mean, you have to build up
Mm-hmm.
the toe shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Faith and Molly and Fiona come and they have a tea party. It's so cute.
I know. I love when the ladies are together. That's the best part, like, to me, seeing the relationships.
It was really cute. I was a little surprised that Florence was so open to Fiona, because Fiona's been, all business. She's been more involved than Henry, to be honest.
I was talking to someone the other day, like, Lucas has had more scenes with Fiona about the business than it seems like Henry and Lucas,
Yeah. And so they find out this. So Smith has paid off this McCrory guy. Henry's really upset. He pushes all of the maps and stuff away. He's very angry, and he says that McCrory says going to die, and he's going to die, and I want to have something for my family. So not good. And so then Henry says, I haven't forgotten. And we see him, he puts explosives in the mine and the mine collapses.
So
And
Henry.
so Bill says, I can't condone, I think it's Bill or Lucas, I can't remember, but I think it's Bill who says, I can't condone what you've done, but thank you from all of us.
I think that was Bill.
Yeah, Bill. So that was pretty interesting for Gowen.
I expected him to do something like that because like he knows the mine doesn't need to be open. He doesn't want to make the same mistake twice, you know. So I'm all for redemption for Henry.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty big redemptive moment for him. So
I've always liked him, not at the beginning of the series, but like season 5 onward, I really liked Henry. So I'm happy to see that he's good now.
Yeah. So Gilchrist and Fiona have a date. And they would be a very attractive couple.
They really would.
I think. They would
I'm
work
for Arthur coming back to Hope Valley.
Yeah. And then we also have Rosemary and Elizabeth as twinsies.
That was the best. Yeah, best. Like we haven't seen Elizabeth in red for a long time, and now we do.
I am just amazed how little Pascal's waist is, and these skirts they have her in just add to make it emphasize it. She's just tiny. Like, wow. How do you? Oh, that is impressive. I mean, they all are, of course, gorgeous, but I don't know, just especially in this episode, it was just like, wow, she's so little. It's amazing.
But I don't know about any of the other actresses, but I know that Erin and Pascal both wear corsets. So like even more so, like that's got to be uncomfortable. Like
it really shows with her. Her waist is just tiny. It's amazing. But that was cute with them being twinsies. And then there's this whole scene with Elizabeth and Lucas in his office, and she's like, I just came out of the rain, I'm soaked, and I swear she was not wet at all. Her hair was like completely dry. That was kind of funny to me.
Her face looked red, but like her hair and clothes didn't look as
that's right.
But her face did.
Oh yeah, that's true. Anyway, she says that she thought he was going to propose, but then he didn't, and he gives her the gift, and it's actually earrings, which is like a big woof on his part. It just was like, ooh, you missed on the gift.
But if she wasn't thinking it was an engagement ring the whole time, it would have been like even sweeter. But bless his heart, like he tried. I'm like, don't put it in a red box that's small.
Yeah, have it in like a rectangle box or something like that.
Yeah.
So big step though. They both say I love you. The big three are uttered. Very exciting.
It was sweet.
Yeah. Did you just like start squealing in your house?
I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, I honestly was expecting it to happen in episode 12, like either right before like proposal.
Yeah.
Or so I was like, happened before, we're good. Like we're good.
Yeah. They send Henry to Benson Hills so that he can stay out of the way. And we also have Joseph. He says to Minnie, I'm the provider of this family, which seems a little, I understand that this is the time, but like Minnie owns a whole business herself. So calm down on that a little bit. Sorry.
I guess because he wants to show that he can provide, like because the dad obviously doesn't believe in him, so he wants
I can
to show
understand that, but I don't know. Like I said, she owns a whole business that she's running competently by herself,
and they never had any trouble before. Like the whole time, like last season and this season they never had trouble.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, y'all. Let's finish strong.
We do get a scene with Molly talking to Faith about opening the mine, and Faith consoling her, and that was a nice moment. It's always nice on One Calls the Heart when we get people we don't normally see together, and we do see, because obviously they both work in the infirmary, but I don't know, I feel like we don't usually see just one-on-one with
I like
Molly and
that.
Faith. So that's always good. I wish that they had more of that, like people you don't normally see together talking. It just makes it feel more like a town. Bill says to Nathan, better to have loved and lost than not loved at all. And they're all talking about love.
Did you think Faith was talking about Carson, like, to Molly? Because that's how I took it. Like, she was talking about Carson and Nathan was talking about May.
I can't remember.
That's how I took it.
Yeah. I probably did think that. It was really cute with Ned with that toaster.
Yeah, I love Ned so
fun.
much. Yeah.
I could just have Ned inventing stuff.
Yeah.
And showing off stuff.
The word puzzle. Like, it's like, I just love Ned. I wonder what he's going to come up with next year.
Oh yeah, what was the word puzzle? I wrote that down. I forgot to say it. That Rosemary, that it's splendacious.
It's splendacious, yeah. So good. Of course.
Love that. I do feel like Rosemary would write a mean crossword.
That would be so funny.
So then Hickam comes back. Fiona seems very excited to see him. And then Gilchrist and Smith leave. And then Lucas leaves. And then you see Gustav worried.
Yeah. I think he's off to go get the ring, Lucas. And he comes back and can't wait any longer.
I would love that. That would be so much better than if they wait and stretch this out like they did Jack and Elizabeth. If they do anything like that, I will just die. It was so long.
They've already said I love you faster than Jack and Elizabeth, and so many kisses.
Kiss faster.
Yeah, I want to say so many kisses. Like, how many now? I don't know. Lost count. So
it was my last patience waiting for them to get married.
I think it talked about marriage like a lot.
Yeah.
Lucas and Elizabeth. So I'm like,
it would be so nice
if
they got engaged for the season. And I feel like, what would be really cool is if they were to get engaged and then have a winter Christmas wedding episode.
That's what I would love, a Christmas wedding, because they haven't had that happen before.
No. And they should have done that with Jack and Elizabeth. Then they could have had the whole 5th season with them married instead of that's what they absolutely should have done, but they didn't.
That 1.5 episode of them married. Still,
I kind of wish. I think it would be fun if they had Elizabeth propose to Lucas. I know that would be against tradition, but I do think it would be kind of fun for their characters.
She's already basically said, like, come on, dude, like,
right, yeah,
like with the watch and everything, like, it's just funny, like, this, she's just like so ready.
Yeah. So we're almost, yeah. Well, at least it seems like the business is done.
Thank goodness.
We're probably gonna have some more stuff with Henry, but it's over.
I think we'll see May, I think, definitely, and then the pregnancy announcement. Elizabeth and Lucas.
Yeah.
What else? Henry finally getting like the last bit of redemption for him. I can see all that happening.
Yeah, and then I think Bill's gonna die.
Just cherry on top of all the happiness.
I know. They also have him in the rain, which is usually a bad sign. If somebody gets caught in the rain in the turn of the century,
Because
they probably die.
Carson calls Faith, so I think maybe during the off season, Jack, I'm gonna call him Jack. Bill goes to see Carson and then comes back.
Maybe.
Mhm.
I hope so. I hope so.
Mhm.
We'll see.
We'll
But
see.
what do you give this episode 1 to 10?
Oh, I'm gonna go all out. Let's say 10.
10.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it I don't think it's my favorite episode of the season.
Mhm.
I think I did give a 10 to one of the episodes.
Was it
Forget which
8?
one. What?
8, episode 8.
Oh yeah.
That was my
good.
favorite of the season. Mhm.
Oh yeah, the Christmas with the Christmas.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
was the one.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give this one a 9, which is very good.
That's good. That's
It's a very good episode of One Calls the Hearts.
Mhm.
But I do hope we get Gilchrist back for the finale and he
Mhm.
redeems himself and maybe he
Mhm.
turns Smith in. That would be really fun.
That'd be fun. Mhm.
Mhm. And hopefully Hickam gets back his confidence and we see him leading in the final episode. And
I've wanted him for mayor for so long. He better not resign. That's all I gotta say.
I know. We even made t-shirts, for goodness sakes.
I know, right? Come on, Ben.
But I think we'll probably see something, either a kiss between Nathan and Faith or a kiss between Nathan and May.
Mhm.
I guess something.
I think definitely a date, like
Mhm.
a legit date.
And
no triangle.
So let us know what you think of these 2 episodes. We would love to hear your thoughts. Put your thoughts in the comment section. We'd really appreciate it. And Caroline, where can people find you?
On Twitter at @MeToCarolineR.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So please check that out. Also, make sure that you're following the podcast on Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave us your 5-star reviews. That really, really helps us so much. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have the Patreon group. And this Saturday, and this next Sunday, I'm going to be doing a live stream for the patrons for our patron event this month, where you get to find out my top 40 TV movie rom-coms. So that's going to be really fun. And you can ask me any questions about running the podcast or anything you want. And so sign up for the Patreon in the comments. Sign up for the Patreon in the description below and check out the merch store. There's tons of Hardee's inspired merch. Take a look at that. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.